4-8B, this meeting will be held by means of the use of electronic communications equipment. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, no members of the public shall be permitted to physically attend the meeting. The public, however, is invited to attend the meeting electronically. This special meeting was advertised on the Spotswood website and in the Home News Tribune.
Councilman Ritchie?
Here.
Councilman Rivera?
Here.
Councilman Malillo? Councilman Malillo?
Here.
Councilman
He's here.
Cucuzzo?
Here.
Council President Kramer?
Here.
So,
Mayor Sealy?
Here.
Okay, proposed items for consideration by council for the regular meeting immediately following. So we'll go with the engineer's report.
Thank you. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So I issued my report. The 2020 local aid program, we issued a proposal to the borough for that, and we're just waiting for whenever you're ready to move forward on it. With that, I've been reporting on the PSE&G progress, and they're doing limited work because of the COVID matter. They're not going in houses, so they can't do any services that require them to go into a house. So that work is going to be taking longer, and the paving work is going to get pushed further back into the year. I spoke with Kelly Sutter about that. She said once it starts getting close, she'll give me a call and we'll have a meeting. Moving on to my next item, the Cottage Street area improvements. The contractor every 2 weeks. He had demobilized for the winter, and his guys are not willing to come back. They're worried about traveling together in the vehicle and getting hurt on the job. They don't want to go to the hospital. I spoke with him at length today, and he said to me, you know what, I'm going to wait 2 more weeks. Whoever wants to work will go back to the job, and those who don't, won't. Kind of thinks that with the stimulus package, many people are making more money staying home, and they're just not interested in coming back. But I'm trying to get that project up and running, and I'm hoping in 2 weeks or so he arrives. Brunswick Avenue and Karen Street, the contractor is working on storm sewer improvements on Brunswick Avenue. It's been a real challenge because of the PSE&G situation I mentioned in the first item. They will not come out and lower a gas service. They will not relocate a gas main. They're not doing anything unless you hit it and there's a leak. So we've had to redesign the storm sewer almost daily in order to try to keep moving forward with the project. We had one day where the contractor couldn't work. But we're moving ahead and doing our best with all of that. And the Karen Street improvements are substantially complete. Really, the only thing left there is to build the road and top it with asphalt, and that'll be done when they're finishing or doing the paving on Brunswick. Adirondack Avenue, we're working on that design. That is moving along, and Mr. Sachs is forwarding the easement documents to the resident of 350 Adirondack Avenue. The Bow Lake dredging, we're working on the project plans and the permits, and the George Street Water Treatment Plant and well number 4 proposed capacity increase. We're working on the design with the architect, which is pretty much just layout of things. We can't start really designing the plant until we get the chemistry, which is part of the second bullet. The well driller is scheduling the 24-hour test. We've had a problem there because the well, without running, has been spilling water for weeks. It's just artesian. It's coming out of the well casing and bubbling out. But they finally figured out a way to run the test that the DEP will accept. And so we're going to get that scheduled. And then we have that chemistry. We can work with the actual design of the and see if we need the air stripper in the back. And that is it. I'll answer any questions you may have.
Do we have a remedy?
Hey, Bruce.
Bruce, Ted, do we have any remedy if the builder or the contractor can't get people back?
I think our next move would be to contact their bonding company. I think just, I think that would be our next avenue.
Okay, I mean, I understand their concern, but, we also have to get this project going ahead too.
And I agree completely, and I'm sorry, go ahead. I've expressed to him that I have other contractors working on other jobs, and it's not a problem. And I said to him, well, if those guys don't want to come work, maybe you need other people to hire. And he's like, well, so finally in the end, he said, you know what? I think it's going to be 2 weeks, and whoever wants to come, comes, and we get back to work. So that's the best I could get out of him today. And I know this man for many, many years.
People talking at the same
All right,
time.
thanks, Bruce.
Thank you.
Hey, Bruce, it's Charlie. I have a question about the George Street plant. I
Yes.
remember when we discussed this before, in the past, the DEP and EPA, the permits for those two departments were going to take about a year to get completed. We were talking about trying to get that process started and like doing it concurrently as we were getting stuff in order. Has that happened, or are we still looking at that year out before this can happen? Does this test have to be done before we can start that application? I'm just trying to figure out how long of a timeline we're still looking at.
The well drilling part is the part with the DEP where we're looking for the greater instantaneous flow from well number 4. And that has been going on for a while with the DEP. We're working closely with them on this 24-hour test, which is going to prove whether the aquifer can handle this increase in flow. And then it's just rolling out. But we have been in touch with them. That has not waited for the authorization of the plant design. That's going. We did the initial test, a pilot test, and then when the DEP saw the results, they said we could move ahead with the 24-hour test.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Charlie.
Council President, just Larry Sachs, I just want to jump in for 1 second.
Sure.
With respect to Adirondack Avenue, I have had discussions with the property owner at 350 Adirondack Avenue, and today I sent her out the two easement documents, which she needs to execute. So she does seem cooperative. So hopefully we'll have those signed and get recorded, and then obviously we'll have no issue with that. And the only suggestion I would make to Bruce on Cottage Street, if you're running into the runaround with this particular contractor, then let me know, and perhaps I can send him a friendly letter that he's contractually bound, and if need be, we could always go to the bonding company.
That is fine, Larry. We'll give him the 2 weeks. If he's not on the job, then I'll call you and we'll go with that path. Thank you.
Okay, not a problem. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, the resolutions under consent agenda is 2020-72, adoption of the 2020 municipal budget. 2020-73, self-examination of 2020 budget allowable by DCA if the municipality is in sound fiscal condition, boy, I'm having a problem today. They may assume this responsibility. 2020-74, the Borough Council authorizes Mayor Sealy to appoint Kate Leedy as Human Resources Officer with a stipend of $8,000 and a salary increase of $12,000 for her current position as Administrative Assistant. 2020-75, Borough Council authorizes change order number 1 be performed by Joe Med Construction Corporation for the project known as Cottage Streets Area Infrastructure Improvements. 2020-76, payment of bills. I open it up to discussion.
I have nothing, Larry. Thank you.
Nothing
Okay.
here.
Nothing.
Nothing here.
All right, anybody else?
Hey Larry, what was the
the raises for other people?
I don't remember, Jose. They're not here on the listing. They would be probably in the budget. So did you come get your paperwork? You should have a copy of that.
Yeah, I have everything.
Okay. All right. So if there's no other council members with questions, will I make a motion to open it to the public?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hold on. Jackie, you should be able to talk now.
Thank you. Jackie Palmer, 9 Chupin Street. Resolution
Hello, Jackie.
2020-74. Can you tell me who wrote this resolution?
Probably Larry Sachs.
Yes,
Larry?
Jackie, I wrote it with the assistance of Pat and with Joe Zenga's input as well.
I'm sorry, if there was an answer, I heard no one.
No. Oh. Jackie, Larry Sachs, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. Yeah, the question was who wrote the resolution? I wrote it along with input from Pat DiStefano and from Joe Zenga, our finance administrator.
Why are we combining two totally different issues into one resolution? The resolution about her salary increase that falls outside of the cap is absolutely, positively, totally different than appointing someone to the human resources officer position. And by putting that together, you've now set a precedent. So her appointment for HRO is only, according to this resolution, until the end of the year.
Correct.
So should someone next year be appointed and pull up the resolution from this year, do you think that that may be an issue when they say, hey, she got a $12,000 increase outside of the cap? I want one too.
No, that's why it's an annual resolution, Jackie. Originally, and if someone else wants to jump in, that's fine. But that's why we're not doing it as an ordinance. We're going to do it as a resolution. It's going to be an annual appointment, and it's going to be up to this council and the administration to determine what the compensation will be.
No, you're missing my point, Larry.
Nope. All right, well, go ahead. Why don't you ask me? Go ahead.
There's two separate issues that are not the same on one resolution. This would be like putting all of the resolutions in one resolution for each meeting.
Mm-hmm.
The
Right.
salary increase that falls outside of the cap is not, just because it's the same person doesn't mean that you should have it on the same resolution. They should be totally separate resolutions. The council should be voting on one, appointing a human resources officer to comply with the state requirement in the domestic violence policy. That's one.
Right.
Vote on that, sign it, be done. Resolution, the next one is the salary increase for her for $12,000 that falls outside of the cap,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because next year, her salary's not going to go down. We're not going to redo and say, oh, now we're going to take away her $12,000 raise that she got on 2020. They should be two totally separate issues.
Well,
So
first
I'm
of all,
asking, why were they combined? Because they're not the same. Just because it's the same person doesn't mean that those are the same issues.
all right, well, it was combined because that's the way it was presented to me. But I will tell you this, her salary next year will be contained in the budget. She will be part of the municipal budget at that particular time. So I don't see where there's any issue with it. I mean, obviously we're doing this because it's the request of the administration. I don't personally see any issue with it, Jackie. Next year, her salary is going to be set, assuming she's reappointed to that position at whatever salary she's received.
Well, I disagree with you, and I think that they should be two totally separate.
Okay.
I think that you should vote on one piece of it, and you should vote on the other piece of it.
No.
Because also in public, that doesn't show, this doesn't look good. Okay, I'll call the elephant in the room. It looks as if you're giving a $20,000 raise to the mayor's secretary. That's what it looks like. And everybody who's sitting on this phone is likely, you know, we, as an administration, we decided not to give a 30-day grace period for people's taxes.
Mhm.
But today, we decided to give a $20,000 raise to the mayor's secretary. And $20,000 is essentially, if I do the quick math, it's like a 30, actually 12,000 is almost a 30% increase in her salary. 30%.
All right, point taken, but
Okay, one, perhaps, if you guys are going to change the cap as if it says it in the ordinance, right? The salary currently exceeds the present, but the Borough Council intends to amend this ordinance prior to year end. Either you wait, and you could have just done it on the side and not advertised that you're giving the woman a $12,000 increase, and literally, I'm almost embarrassed for all of you because I can't even believe that that's what you, at a time like this is what you thought was prudent to do. Really? I'm embarrassed. So my suggestion to all of you as a council, and Larry, you're the attorney, so I would
Yeah.
like you to just do what they tell you to do, and I would like them to answer at this point, not so much you.
okay.
I would like council to separate those two issues because they are not the same. And I'm not suggesting whether or not my opinion is, should she get a raise or not get a raise? I'm suggesting to you guys that, yet again, we've done this poorly. We've not thought through how we should handle this. If you wanted to change the salary ordinance, make sure that the gap, that you could fit her increase in there, you might have wanted to do that first, and probably nobody would have noticed. But instead, you just slapped this on the agenda. You slapped everybody in the face, telling them they couldn't have a 30-day extension on their taxes, which really only affect a very small population, because I would say a large majority of people have to pay their mortgage, their taxes through their mortgage and their escrow accounts. You probably were getting your money anyway. So we were really harming just a small group of people. But the point is, we have a pandemic. We have people who are unable to work. We have significant financial issues going on for people. You're proposing a budget that has a significant increase in impact to our taxpayers. And then to add insult to injury, you put this on the agenda too? I'm really disappointed. So who from council would like to comment on what the purpose was and why you did it like that?
Hey, Jackie, it's Charlie. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. So my question, Jackie, is if these were two separate resolutions, is that what you're asking to have done? So
Correct.
there's two separate votes. So Larry Sachs,
Yes,
is there any way that we can make this two separate resolutions tonight at this meeting? Can you just break that in half?
well, we could, if it's the council's decision that you'd like to see it broken into two separate resolutions, I'm sure that we could do that. Obviously, you know,
I'm
it would not be
just
something that.
asking if.
Well, here's the
Larry, I'm
problem.
just asking if it can be done. I'm not asking if we're going. I'm not saying we're going to do this or anything. I just want to know if it can be done.
Well, first of all,
I don't want to see this pushed off another meeting.
right.
So
well,
if you're telling me it can't be broken up tonight, then we can't. There's nothing that can be done with it.
I don't think we can because we noticed the agenda with the resolution that we have in front of us this evening, Charlie. So you would,
Okay.
yeah, it really can't be.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilmember Lillo speaking. This woman's been doing this human resources job officer for a while. And I think she deserves what she's going to get on paper here. She's been doing it.
Mhm.
Is something wrong with that? She's been doing it.
John, the question is not.
You want to separate. Yeah, you want to separate it. Well,
The question is not, so hear me out. The question is not whether or not I think she deserves hazard pay for the job she does, to be frank. Okay? Having to deal with what she's had to go through with Miss McDonald, she deserves hazard pay. That's not the issue. The issue is that this was done, I think you did it wrong. I think, one, it's two separate issues. You put on a resolution that, the one issue is that we have to, by the state statute, we have to appoint a human resources officer. That's one issue. And that human resources officer is only prudent to what's listed here for the domestic violence policy. The human resources role that she has been doing that you want to compensate her for, which frankly was under the BA, and we've already decided as of last meeting, we were told that we're not taking any money away from the BA to give it to to Kate, even though she likely deserves it.
you got to go. They want to vote for it tonight. You vote for it.
Yeah, let me just chime in one more time again. There's a difference between a resolution and an ordinance. A resolution is just memorializing action that's being taken by the governing body. So I disagree respectfully with Ms. Palmer's assertion that it's legally a problem. It's not. It's really just a matter of dealing with an action that will be taken one way or the other by this borough council and memorialized into a resolution.
Well,
So-
I mean, that's fine. I disagree with you because then we should just put everything into one resolution.
No, we don't. No, we don't do that. All right.
Correct.
But in this situation, you're dealing with an employee, all right, who is receiving compensation, right? And you want to call it hazard pay for what she's been doing in the past for her salary increase. That's fine. All right. Again, the important thing about this resolution and the initial resolution was prepared by the clerk's office. Joe Zenger looked at it, and then I looked at it, and I was concerned that I wanted to make sure that this was only for the calendar year of 2020. And next year, we'll revisit the issue, and we'll determine, who will be the human resources officer for next year, right? And what that salary will be, or that stipend will be.
Well, let me ask you this clarification question then. If next year, so this resolution, so if next year we determine that the human resources officer gets put to somebody else that works for the borough,
Right.
are they going to get not only the stipend, are they also going to get a salary increase?
No, they're going to get a stipend. Because if you read the language, it says she's receiving a salary increase of $12,000 for the administrative assistant position. Has nothing to do with being the human resources officer.
And therein lies my point. The two have nothing to do with each other, but we put them on one resolution. That's fine. You don't have to separate them. But
And by the way, by having this, let me just,
everybody's voting for that.
well, let me just give you one other point here, which is important. By having this colloquy during the public portion of the meeting, we are understanding, and that's a public record, that the two positions are not mutually exclusive. So the point is taken, but I don't see any legal issue with that.
All right, I have a second question, and I'm sure you can answer it, and I'm sure I already know the answer, and I'm sure I don't like it, but please fill us in on the bill that came through for the investigator,
Yes,
basically.
and I knew that question was going to come up. Okay, I must be a mind reader. So anyway, at the conclusion of the last council meeting, I was instructed by council to review the bills that were submitted by that law firm, review the resolutions that were passed by the borough council. I wrote a letter to everybody on council, the mayor, our business administrator, our clerk, and I have that file in front of me somewhere here, but give me a second. The gist of my conclusion and I did do a comprehensive analysis of all of the billings. It took some time for me to get the actual billings, but I did receive them, I guess, last week. And the billings are legitimate, Jackie. They're reasonable, they're fair. They were detailed, all right, which is what my concern was. Sometimes I know attorneys will not give detailed billings, but that law firm's billings were detailed. And after reviewing them, I believe that they are legitimate. I also reviewed the resolutions that were adopted by the council, which I think authorized the total sum of $10,000 to be allocated towards this law firm to do this legal work. And they actually came short of the 10,000. They billed about 9,000 and change. So in my letter, which I addressed to all council and the mayor, that was my conclusion, that was my opinion, and that's why I'm sure it's back on the bill list.
And when you reviewed that, were we double billed by both?
No,
this investigator?
no.
That we didn't get billed for the conversations that happened between the labor attorney and this attorney?
No, because the conversations between the investigator and the labor attorney were to get certain documents and information necessary for her to do her investigation. So no, I don't believe we were double billed on this,
So
Jackie.
if you looked at the bills from the labor attorney, we didn't get billed for his conversations with the investigator?
No, we did, but that's not a
so
double bill. Excuse me.
So yeah, we
That's
got
not a double bill. No, it's not double billing, because the investigator needs to talk to the labor attorney who has access to certain files and certain documentation in order for her to proceed with her investigation. So no, I don't believe it was double billing. And I will say one thing. I think in reviewing both the labor attorney's bills and the law firm that did the investigation, they were both detailed. It wasn't like there was any ambiguity with what they were doing. So my recommendation was to have the bill paid. I don't think we need to subject the town to a lawsuit filed by an attorney for an unpaid legal bill. So that was my conclusion.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh,
There's one more person, hold on.
Okay.
Colleen, can you hear me?
we hear you, Anthony. We hear you. Councilman Malillo hears you.
Colleen, can you hear me?
So she muted herself? Oh, she's
She's unmuted.
Why has Jose got his hand up?
Can you hear me? No, sorry, it's Dulce. I'm on Jose's computer, so sorry. I couldn't change the name on the screen. So can I speak?
Sure, go ahead.
Hi, Dulce Branca Rivera, 46 Herbert Ave. To the resolution with the HR thing, I have a problem with that. So we are appointing someone to be the HR rep who has no background as far as I know. So if I'm wrong, please correct me. But no background, no training in HR matters. So basically, we're going to go back to the same problem we had in the beginning, having someone who doesn't understand HR rules and regulations to handle HR. I just don't understand how this is responsible appointment. It is nothing against the person. I'm talking about what their background is, the education they have. And I have a serious issue with that.
Larry, can you answer that? Because
Well, I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know if I can answer that. That might be better
Okay.
answered by the administration.
Yeah, I don't think this is for the attorney. This is for the mayor and the council on why you are appointing someone to do a job when they don't have the background for it. It would be like hiring me to run your public works department. I have no clue what a public works department does other than pick up garbage. I don't know how they get that all done. So I would not be the person for that job. And that's the
Well,
whole background.
I
Beyond
can
that,
tell you,
the
Go ahead.
$12,000 raise to me is just, I don't even know what to say about that. And again, it's not about not believing that she's worth the money, but she was given a job and she was given a salary. And then you get increases to those salary. A $12,000 increase is just outrageous. And then you wonder why taxes keep going up. It's because you keep throwing this huge amount of monies at whatever person you decide who is I guess the one on top, the top pedestal. Last year it was Dawn with the $10,000 increase. This year it's her. I mean, can I get a job with the borough so I can get those kind of huge increases? Because I know that in my job, there are no increases this year. And I'm sure that most of the people in town are just like that. No increases.
well, the only thing I can tell you is on the HR part of it, I spoke to an HR director, and there are no requirements as long as there's no interaction with payroll. And that's what I was told by an HR director that works for the federal government, that she can learn things online if she chooses to, or if the borough chooses to ask her to, but there's no requirements for her to assume this role and it's not, it's an HR representative. She doesn't, her main position is to rectify any grievances or set them along in motion if there's a grievance between one employee and another employee or something like that. She has nothing to do with the payroll end of it because of Prime Point, and that's what I was told.
Payroll is a very small part of HR.
I understand that, but that's the only
so
thing that
to say
requires
just because the federal government has no requirements, I think that's a cop-out. And it puts her in a very precarious situation because she's going to come across an HR situation. She's going to say the wrong thing. She's not going to put the right thing in motion because she doesn't have the training, and we're going to have another problem.
I think, I
also I have serious issues with giving part of the BA's job away without decreasing the BA's salary. If she's not doing the full job, then she doesn't get the full salary, regardless of who it is. The job
Can I comment,
is the job.
Council
And if
President?
you're not doing the job, you don't get all the money. So that
Council President,
$8,000 that you want to give to the HR person should be taken away from the BA job.
Council President, if I can just respond quickly.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Yeah, it isn't an HR position. It is a position to specifically address any concerns that an employee might have who might be a victim of domestic violence. If you read the top of the resolution, that's the only function that this human resources officer is going to deal with, specifically to address employees who are victims of domestic violence. So we're not abrogating the responsibility of the job that the business administrator has to do. This is an additional position, which, by the way, it has been suggested by the Department of Community Affairs of New Jersey that every town needs to have this specific human resources officer. So that's...
The mayor has told us that we're probably going to get an HR generalist. So if that $8,000 isn't for the HR generalist, so does the next meeting we're going to throw more money at somebody to be the HR generalist? Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is this specific resolution and this specific vote is to establish a human resources officer specifically in compliance with the Department of Community Affairs advisory of October of 2019. That's all I'm saying.
Not what the resolution says.
Sure it is. That's exactly what it says.
It's ridiculous.
No.
You're throwing money around, and now the next presentation is where you're going to tell me that I'm getting a 4% increase in my taxes for the borough. Thanks a lot.
Council President, I got a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
It was my understanding, and if I'm wrong, you can correct me, that this HR position was going to be, the stipend was for her to run HR and do that. This position required by DCA was never, my understanding was never part of it. She was going to be the HR person. Oh, so you're saying we're giving her a stipend of $8,000 to meet the DCA requirement, and yet she's not going to do all the HR?
I'll be honest with you, Ted. I thought it was an HR position, so I didn't know.
We need to pull this
What?
off the table. We don't have straight answers here. This was supposed to be her being put into the HR position. That was the point of the stipend. If she's getting $8,000 so that she can meet the DCA requirement, that's not what we were told originally. Yes, this be pulled tonight until we research this a little bit more, because we got a real communications issue going on here. It doesn't make any sense.
Ed, can you
Ted, I
chime in on
cannot
this?
hear you. One word you said.
I'm sorry?
Jose, are you still there?
Yeah, I did not hear one word that Ted said.
Jose, can you hear me now?
Barely.
Is anybody else having trouble hearing me?
I can hear you, but you're very low.
Let me move this thing a little closer and see if that helps. How
Here.
about now?
I can hear them.
Any better?
Not
I can hear
really.
you.
It's about the same.
All right, basically what I'm saying is we were told this position was going to be HR, not what the DCA position required. And if the raise she was getting was so that she would perform the HR function, and it was a stipend for the function, the $12,000 raise was to bring her salary up for her administrative aid. It had nothing to do with HR. So if this is not what's going on, then we need to pull this thing and clear it up, because, you know, this doesn't make any sense right now. I don't understand why we would give somebody $8,000 to handle potentially one or two DVs that may come in from employees. This doesn't make any sense at all. This isn't what my understanding was.
Ed, do you want to clarify this, please?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, because I couldn't unmute myself for some reason. What Ted said is correct. Okay, and I'm sure there are other people that know this. The DCA job with dealing with domestic violence is a non-paying job. That can be appointed to anybody. She is going to be a human resources person, but she's working with the assistance of both attorneys. Is she schooled in this? No. Does she have a general idea of it? Yes. But keeping in mind that the average low-end salary for this job is around $57,000. Now, basically, that's what it all comes down to. The employees are comfortable with her. She does a good job. I don't know what the real issue is here. If you don't want it to happen, don't make it happen, but that could be a problem.
Councilman Kramer, if you're asking for some guidance from me, then, and
Yeah.
Councilman Ricky has brought up a good point. Perhaps we should table this for this evening and beef up this resolution a little bit to indicate that she's also going to handle the role of human resources officer outside of any issues that might be dealing with domestic violence as well.
All right. So you,
If that's
done,
what the council is, if that's what the council would, in other words, I don't want there to be any confusion with respect to this. So we can do that, all right? That's not what was presented to me, though, when we initially put this resolution on, whatever it was, 2 weeks ago.
okay. let me ask you a question. Would it be prudent if the decision is to table it, to split them apart like was requested so that it doesn't become an issue?
I don't have a problem with Ms. Palmer's suggestion either. So no, I can certainly do that. But I think what we need to do is I need to receive some information as to specifically what the Human Resources Officer's functions will be. All right, and I'm sure we can get that information from the administration.
So let me just jump in, and not that this makes any difference, but I was under the impression, the same as Ted, that she was going to have the HR director, not director position, but HR position as well, and that's what the stipend was for. So whatever council wants to do is fine, but I don't know where the communication error happened.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. To all council, I'm not sure where the error occurred, but it's easily correctable. So we can correct it. It's not a problem. And if you want to do it as two separate resolutions, as per Ms. Palmer, we can do that as well.
All right. I guess let the decision be poll the council and see what everybody thinks. Alyssa?
You want me to poll it right now?
Yeah, to poll the council. Let's see what everybody decides.
Well, yeah. Why don't you ask each?
I'm asking for a vote.
Well, it's not really a formal vote, Councilman Kramer. In other words, if you want to just ask each council person, to indicate if you want me to redraft this, I'll do that. Then we can just carry this till the next meeting.
Okay. Jose? Jose?
Hello, do you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, because I lost you.
Jose,
all right, did you hear? Go ahead, Larry.
Yeah, Jose, the question is, would you like me to redraft this resolution to indicate specifically what the human resources position will be for this year?
Yes.
Okay. And what I'll do is, at the suggestion of Ms. Palmer, I will do it as two separate resolutions. I don't have a problem with doing that. All right. So if you're okay with that, then that's how you would like to see it. Okay.
Jose, you got an answer?
I think he gave me the answer. All right.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
All right. Charlie?
Yeah, Larry, if that's what everyone thinks we should do. Like I said, I'm not sure where the communication was lost, but yes, if that's fine with me if we hold it over.
All right, yeah.
Okay.
This way we can, I'll beef up the language of what the human resources officer position will be. That's fine. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Ted?
Pull it and split it.
Okay,
Ted said yes?
Yep.
Yes, pull it and split
Okay.
it.
Yeah, okay. John?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, and I say yes also. Let's get it straightened out
yeah,
so that it goes through the right way.
that's fine. Okay,
All right?
yep.
All right, so Alyssa, I guess we'll go to our next caller.
All right, hold on 1 second.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, Colleen Ronco. Sorry, I had to switch over to this computer. Mine wasn't working. My concern is with this $12,000 raise. I mean, we're talking about a 30% increase in her salary, just in her salary without the stipend. And I don't know of anybody else anywhere that's getting a 30% increase. And I wouldn't have an issue with this if her job was going, if this was like a promotion, or if she was getting additional duties that she didn't have before, or she was paid at the really, really low end of this. But I mean, is there a college degree here? Is there some kind of a background that justifies this $12,000? Because considering that there's a lot of people out of work, a lot of people not getting unemployment, the governor is basically, putting a moratorium on being able to throw people out of houses and foreclose on houses and wants people to, their taxes to June 1st. But here we are in a town where we've got some of the highest taxes in Middlesex County, and we're giving an administrative assistant, basically a secretary, a $12,000 raise. I don't know where the justification is for that. We don't give our police department that kind of a raise. We don't give our DPW that kind of a raise. What is it that is justifying a $12,000 raise? Anyone?
Ed, would you like to comment on that? Is he muted? Ed?
What is it with this guy?
Ed, can you hear us? How about,
Can you hear me?
yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah, I'm loving this phone. I think I'm gonna hold off on any comment after we revisit this.
Okay. So we pulled that from the table, Colleen, to do some research on it. And when Larry has that information for you, we'll try to get it to you.
Okay, but that's not, I'm not discussing the $8,000 that you guys are pulling. It's the $12,000.
No, we're pulling
on the raise.
We're pulling the whole thing. We're pulling the whole thing to look at.
It's not going to change the $12,000. That's not going to, nobody was even questioning that on the council. I'd like to know from the mayor what justifies a $12,000 raise to a secretary. There's got to be a reason we're giving her $12,000.
She's doing the BA's work.
And hazard pay isn't, I'm sorry, but there's an easy solution to the hazard pay situation. Can the BA? But I want an answer as a tax-paying citizen as to why we are giving a secretary a 30% increase in salary during what's going on.
I don't have an answer for you.
Of course not. Nobody has an answer. Nobody ever has an answer. We do this all the time. We did it with the BA, where there's always an increase in something and nobody ever has an answer. So somebody here, there's either something, some kind of dirty deed thing going on here, or the mayor's got information, or Kate Levy's got information on the mayor, but there's something more going on here. So I'm just going to put that out there, but somebody better get back to me with why this woman is getting a $12,000 raise and what justifies it. What are her additional job duties? Was she at the low end of the scale? No, she wasn't. $43,000 for a mayor secretary in a town of 8,000 people? Pretty good salary to me. So I'd like an answer before the next meeting.
All right, Alyssa.
There's
Who's
two
next?
more people. Hold on.
Okay.
Hi. Can you hear-
Hello.
It's Diane Charlesworth, 29 Old Stage Road.
Hello,
How's
Diane.
everybody?
How are you?
I'm not bad for an old broad. Just to kind of put something out there that seems like history's repeating itself. We hired B.A. McDonald when she, and it's not this administration that did it, so I'm not kissing any aspersions here, but we hired her when she was not qualified for the position, okay? We've dealt with her for 7 years in various capacities, ups and downs and all arounds, and she's still dancing all over us, isn't she? Because she's still working. So why are we gonna give responsibilities and $12,000 to another person who doesn't have the qualifications? We didn't learn anything? I feel like we're banging our heads against the wall here.
I don't even know how to answer you, Diane.
Do you see the correlation? Do you see the I mean, I feel like, I mean, it's bad enough with quarantine. Every day is friggin' Groundhog Day. Now we're doing this, having this history repeat itself. I don't get it, guys. Come on. We don't have the dough. We don't have the money.
I understand.
Okay, well, understanding is one thing, Larry, and I appreciate that. But I'm a believer in action. Okay, words are nice, words are great, but I put your money where your mouth is, man. Somebody needs to stand up and do something damn soon, because between buying that monstrosity on Main Street and now giving a $12,000 raise to somebody who's not competent to do the position just seems like foolhardiness to me. And who's going to pay for it? The people who are on this participants list, as well as the rest of the citizens of this town. Come on, guys. The taxes are already going up outrageously, and now $12,000 to it. It doesn't make any sense. You got to see that. I'm sorry. That's the way I feel. That's the way I think.
You have that right.
Thank you. Yes, we do still live in the United. Okay, I'm done.
Okay, thank you, Diane.
Thanks, Larry.
All right.
There's one more. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on.
Good evening, all. I hope everyone is well. Mary Kate McDonald, 177 Kenneth Court. Being a previous employee of the Borough of Spotswood, a clerk, especially the position that I had, would have taken probably 20 years to get to the salary that Kate would be receiving. And believe me, I love Kate. I know she does her job very well. But nobody, and the others, and myself included, pay union dues, and we never received a raise like that. It's really not fair. Now, the person who did take my job is also the admin to the Public Works Department. Is she going to get a $12,000 raise?
I don't even know who that is, Mary Kate.
Maybe, and no offense to any of you, but maybe you should visit each of these departments and see who these people really are and their qualifications. And you could tell me, anybody who does HR, because I constantly always looking at different positions. They always have qualifications that people have somewhat knowledge of the human resource department. So please do not try to throw it down my throat that there are no qualifications for the job. And nobody is getting a 30% raise. We were lucky if we got a measly little 2% raise every year. This is just really not fair to the rest of the employees. And the young lady that did take my position, she has to know every single job in that department. Where is it fair to her that she would never get a 30% raise? Never. And I'm sorry, I just had to get this off my chest because it really is not fair. And I do love Kate. She certainly deserves whatever is thrown. I hate to say the word thrown at her, but she does work very hard. And to have to deal with what she's dealing with right now, she deserves a lot more. But I guess there's no answer for that either.
Well, thank you for what you said, Mary Kate.
And I hope you all remain safe and healthy. And I'd like to see more of us come out every night to show our support for the essential workers in town.
I agree with you there.
I'm out ringing my bell every night. But thank you again, and everyone be safe.
Thank you. You too, Mary Kate.
Thank you.
All right. Goodbye. All right, Alyssa.
Okay, one more person.
Okay.
John Bouchard, 40 Maiden Lane. I just have a procedural question, I guess, about when something like that is put forward to the council, what kind of justification has to be provided by the mayor to the council, or what kind of questions kind of go back to the mayor about that much money, or, you know, how that works?
Well, that's a good question. It's usually brought up in discussion, you know, during the budget. John, you can't talk while I'm talking. You know, then the discussion is, you know, I don't even know how to say it. It's like, you know, we call each other and try to discuss it and see what the justifications are, and then it gets put onto the agenda, and then of course the public gets to talk about it, and sometimes it's pushed out, and sometimes it's approved. It just depends on, you know, how much capital we have, things of that sort. I think probably the mayor would be able to explain it more to me. I mean, I'm still new at this. I've only been on the council a year and a half, so I don't understand how everything is done yet. But, you know, he might be able to enlighten you more than I can.
Yeah, I guess my worry is just, you know, it seems like the HR issue has been something that's come up, and thankfully we have some informed citizens in town who have stepped up to, you know, to really kind of ask the questions and do the things. It's, you know, I guess it's just the responsibility. Where does the responsibility lie to make sure that if money is getting approved, if things are getting voted on, that we're doing so, asking all the right questions, and, you know, not just being willing to just let something go because it seems like it's there. So you know, thank you for that. I hope the mayor will speak to it eventually. I know he said he's not really willing to tonight, but thank you to those other residents from town who are willing to step up and ask those questions and kind of put some roadblocks into things. You know, obviously not to stop someone from getting, you know, an increase, but to ask the questions about what's responsible for the town, especially given everything that's going on.
Well, thank you for your questions. We will try and you know, have better answers. Just some of it is, you know, being the fact that there's COVID-19 thing is going on. He's gone already. He hung up. I'm talking away and he's gone.
I'm here.
Oh, you are?
I'm here.
I don't see you on the list any. Oh, there you are down the bottom.
I just took my hand down. I already answered. So.
Yeah, no, but you know, we try to have answers. It's just sometimes, you know, it's tough to get answers. It's tough for us to find out the information. We do our best. I think the biggest problem is, you know, we are a small borough, and it takes money to run the company.
Sure, but you know, finding out an answer, obviously, it being difficult, that's your no vote to me. Would be if you're not happy with an answer you've been given for a justification, then we would have the ability to say, you know, to say no something or ask it. You know, quite frankly, being a resident in town who hasn't been coming to meetings but for the last year, I don't hear that many questions get asked, and seeking for justification. It seems like things more or less kind of move forward, except when residents speak up. So I'd hope that, you know, that's what you can use, and that's the ability I would see would be to say, you know, use the no vote to make sure questions get asked or answered before we're willing to move forward with anything.
Yeah, well, that's why we table things. If we're not sure, and the you know, the people that are asking the questions don't like the answers that we have, or maybe we don't have the right answer. That's the purpose why we have professionals. Larry Sachs does a wonderful job in keeping us up to date, and you know, some people still don't agree with what he has to say. the issue is sometimes you're just not going to make everybody happy, so you have to go with the majority.
Yeah, fully agree with that. I just, again, the questions seem to get asked in the resident phase, and when there's time for the council to ask questions, there were no questions regarding this particular situation. It didn't really hit a roadblock until Jackie kind of came forward with it. So,
well, actually, it was Ted that made us. Councilman Ted Rickey was the one that kind of threw it out there, that the fact that we thought it was going to be a general, regular HR person, and when it was just supposed to be for, physical abuse, is when we decided that we gotta look into this more and find out what the truth is.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so there's nobody else. Close the public portion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, we'll adjourn this meeting. The next council meeting will be Monday, May 18th, 2020. Start time at 7:30 p.m. Regular meeting to follow. A couple of meetings.
Make a motion.
Go ahead.
Second.
Make a motion to close the caucus meeting?
Second.
John seconded. Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, give me a couple of minutes and then I'll start the next meeting. Okay. This special meeting was called for Monday, May 4th, 2020 at 7:30 p.m. at Borough Hall located at 77 Summerhill Road, Spotswood, New Jersey. Pursuant to the provisions of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-8B, this meeting will be held by means of the use of electronic communications equipment. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, no members of the public shall be permitted to physically attend the meeting. The public, however, is invited to attend the meeting electronically. This special meeting was advertised on the Spotswood website and in the Home News Tribune. All right, we'll have a call to order, and we'll salute the flag and have a moment of silence, and then roll call. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the
republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, during our moments of silence, I'd like to have everyone pray for all of our first responders, nurses, doctors, and everybody that's on the front line during this pandemic. Let's say a special prayer for them.
Council President, can we add one more intention in there?
Of course.
Mary Ann Vogel, she was a retired court clerk from the borough. She passed away this last week.
Okay. Let's include her in our prayers, please.
Councilman Ritchie?
Here.
Councilman Rivera?
Here.
Councilman Malillo?
Here.
Councilman Spacuzzo? Councilman Spacuzzo? Council President Kramer?
Here.
Mayor Sealy? Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is the public hearing for the budget.
Okay.
There's going to be no PowerPoint presentation. It was posted on the borough website along with the budget as well for anyone to look at. So before I start, just in case any of the councilmen or the mayor has anything they want to say before I start.
I have nothing.
Council President, this is the time fixed for the public hearing on the local municipal budget for the year 2020. The budget was approved on April 6, 2020 by the Borough Council. It was advertised by summary on April 20th, 2020, together with notice of the public hearing for this time. Copies were posted on the bulletin board.
Before opening this hearing, I wish to outline the procedure. Each person desiring to be heard will give his or her name. All questions must be directed to the chair, and I will refer them to the members of the council or other officials. Questions must be confined solely to the municipal budget for 2020, and public hearing was advertised for May 4th, 2020 council meeting before us. School or county matters are not proper subjects at this hearing. Council member makes a motion to, okay. Sorry about that.
Someone want to make a
That's okay.
motion to open the public hearing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there a motion?
Make a motion.
I make a motion to open the public hearing.
Okay, yes.
All right, who wants to second it?
I'll second it.
Second, everybody.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Alyssa, this is Charlie. I'm back on the line. My phone died for a second there, so I apologize.
Okay, no problem.
All right, so I think it's open to the public now, Council President.
Okay, when questions appear to have been exhausted, observing no further question from the floor, I make a I'm jumping way ahead here.
I don't
So-
see any hands raised yet, so.
If there's no,
Okay.
let's see if there's any hands raised, all right?
Okay.
Alyssa, are there any hands raised?
Yeah, Jose's
No, I
hand
have
is
no.
raised.
No, Jose's not, it's not raised.
Jose can talk anyway, that's all right. Alyssa, if there's no one from the public,
Is
then,
it Dulce?
Yeah,
Jackie
I'm trying
Palmer.
to,
Yeah.
trying to unmute. Oh, okay. Dulce should be able to talk.
Dulce Branco Rivera, 46 Herbert Ave.
Hello, Dulce.
Hi. I know that there are several contracts that have not yet been settled. In the budget, are anticipated raises accounted for in there? And I'm talking about the union contracts. So like, do we put money aside for like salary that we know is going to increase by what we think it might increase?
That would probably be a CFO question, wouldn't it?
or from the administration.
Yeah, from somebody up.
Yeah, this is Joe, the CFO. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Joe?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the budget does provide for all the contracts that are already approved and for contracts that are in negotiation.
And if we don't settle those contracts, that money just rolls over to the next year, correct?
Yes, or we can earmark it at the end of the year into next year.
Specifically for the back pay that would eventually, we would be hit with, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. That's
You're
it.
welcome.
Okay, there's someone else. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay.
Jackie Palmer, 9 Chupin Street. Can you just confirm, I think we said it was a 3.99 increase in the taxes? Is that correct?
That's correct.
And that does not, like Larry said, include any school tax or the county tax?
No, just the municipal portion and the library. But the municipal portion is 3.99%.
Okay, and Joe, can you just, the average cost, just reiterate, because I'm just asking because I know people could pull the PowerPoint online. I get that. I reviewed it.
That's
I looked
okay.
at it. I know what it says, but there's probably 37 people here wanting to know what's happening and nobody's saying this is what it is.
Yeah, the average residential assessed valuation in town is $255,913.86. They will see an annual increase of $98.76, quarterly increase of $24.69, or a monthly increase of $8.23.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, hold on, there's someone else.
Okay.
How you doing? It's Lowell Miller. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you, Lowell Miller, 27 Shemansky Drive. Question about anticipated revenues that's going on. The budget, I'm assuming, was prepared before all this came down, or as it was coming down. Is there any consideration in the budget for anticipated revenue that may not be there?
No, this budget still includes the amounts, the anticipated revenue that were there before the crisis hit. There will be a few revenues that probably will have a little bit of trouble this year, probably construction, probably court. But I mean, each month we're going to take it day by day.
And I guess, all right. That's it. I'm not going to bother with other questions now. Thank you.
Well,
There's someone else, hold on.
Yep.
Trying to unmute them. There we go.
Hi, Colleen Ronco, 118 in Alpin. I have a question with this budget. We were saying that all of the salaries were already in there. I know that there's been an issue with the police department for years now with respect to the chief and the captain and not getting a contract raise. So have we put that contract money away for them? And is that in the budget?
yes, that's in the budget.
In the budget. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, there's someone else.
Observing no further questions on the floor, I make a motion to close the hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, the budget will be adopted.
Let me just read.
Yeah, I think, Alyssa, can you read the resolution so that they can vote on that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Resolution 2020-72. Be it resolved by the council members of the Borough of Spotswood, County of Middlesex, that the budget hereinbefore set forth is hereby adopted and shall constitute an appropriation for the purposes stated of the sums therein set forth as appropriations, and authorization of the amount of $7,413,575 for municipal purposes and $281,866 for minimum library tax, for a budget totaling $11,850,978.75.
Right.
All right, so I think we need to have a motion to adopt and a second.
I make a motion to adopt the budget.
Second.
Councilman Ritchie?
Yes.
Councilman Rivera?
Yes.
Councilman Malillo?
Yes.
Councilman Spocuzzo?
Yes.
Council President Kramer?
Yes.
All right, so the budget, Council President, has now been approved and adopted, and I think we just need a motion and a second to adjourn the public hearing for the budget, and then you can go on with the balance of the meeting. So if someone can
Make a
make
motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
I'll second it.
All in
Alyssa, you wanna do
favor?
the roll? Yeah.
Aye.
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 All right.
So there's no minutes and there's no ordinances, so I'll just jump into the resolutions.
Yep.
Council President, council members, I'll take a motion to accept the resolutions on the consent agenda. Resolutions 2020-72, 73, 75, and 76.
And 74 is being pulled until we can come up
Yes.
with more specific language. That's fine.
Correct.
Council President, can you turn around and, on the bill list, pull sub 190278 to be pulled separately?
Hold on.
Hold on, please.
All right. Which one is that?
19-02178.
Hold on. 19. Where the hell?
You want to
Okay,
vote
I'm-
on that one separately, Jose?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Okay, I must be looking at the, wait a minute, 19,
It's on the bill list.
yeah, 192178.
Yeah, it's the second one, so that's the investigator's legal fees.
Okay,
All right, so if you want, if Councilman Rivera wants that one pulled, at least for purposes of adopting the rest of the bill list, and then you can vote on that one separately. That's fine.
okay.
All right, Alyssa, you got that?
Okay, so we're just someone's gonna make a motion to accept the resolutions excluding bill
bill
list
list.
item 19. Okay, and then
Yeah.
excluding
19.
2020-74.
Okay.
Okay, so who wants to make a motion?
I make a motion.
What's that, the
192178.
Well, you're
That's the
making a
one.
motion to adopt all the resolutions with the exception of 2020-74. And
Right.
you're making a motion to adopt the bill list with the exception of 19-02178.
Yeah.
And then you'll have discussion on that bill separately.
Right.
Okay, yep.
So Jose made the motion. Who wants to second it?
I'll second it, Alyssa.
Councilman Ritchie?
Yes.
Councilman Malillo?
Yes.
Councilman Rivera?
Yes.
Councilman Spacuzzo?
Yes.
Council President Kramer?
Yes.
All right,
So
so
then-
the only open issue now then is this bill, purchase order 19-02178 for Kaufman, Semeraro, and Liebman for professional services for $5,157.60. So there can be a separate motion to adopt that one with a second, or whatever the council's prerogative is here.
I make a motion to approve Bill 19-02178.
I'll second it.
Councilman Ritchie?
Yes.
You said yes?
Yes.
Okay. Councilman Malillo?
No.
Councilman Rivera?
No.
Councilman Spacuzzo?
Yes.
Council President Kramer?
Yes.
All right, then that bill will get paid as well then. All right. Alyssa, you can move on.
Okay, the only thing is just discussion from the council, then the open public. I'm done with all my stuff.
All right, I make a motion to open it to the public.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Hi, it's Diane Trailsworth again, 29 Old Stage Road.
Hi, Diane.
Hi, is B.A. McDonald here today?
Yes, I am.
She's-
Okay. At the last meeting, I questioned you about two bills to two different cleaning companies. One was dated 3/31. It was to Building Stars Operations. And this description was for COVID-19 emergency cleaning. That bill was for $7,995. A week later, there was another bill on April 7th to Granite Man Home Services, which was also a COVID-19 emergency sanitizing for $8,900. And when I asked you about those bills, you informed me at the time that the Building Stars bill was a normal charge for them. The problem that I have is that I went back through old bills that I kept from other council meetings, and there's not a single bill from them that is more than $25,000. But you insisted that that $79.95 was their normal charge. So can you explain how that could be?
Okay. Each bill is around $2,500. It depends on how many days of the month they are here to clean.
You're so full of shit.
I heard that, and
Because you are full of shit.
Excuse me.
The $7,000 bill included a portion of the March cleaning. Building Stars is our regular cleaner, and they did extra cleaning due to COVID-19. Granite Man did spraying.
You're still full of shit.
I heard that as well.
Granite Man,
Heard it or not?
Granite Man did what?
Granite Man sprayed the building.
But it's listed as a COVID-19 emergency sanitizing for $8,900. And a week before, we spent $79.95 for basically the same service. Within 1 week, we needed 2 cleanings of that magnitude.
It's 2 totally different cleanings, as I explained. Granite Man does a spray cleaning. Building Stars is our regular cleaning. They did charge us extra for March because they did extra deep cleaning because of COVID-19.
Did they clean the vents? I asked you this last time. You said no. Maybe you want to rethink the answer to that. Did they clean the vents for black mold?
I don't know anything about black molds. I told you that at the last meeting, but the ducts were sanitized.
No, they were not.
Okay. There's some disagreement here because I don't understand how you could have an almost $8,000 bill from one company and then an almost $9,000 bill from another company a week later, and you tell me that the $8,000 bill was the normal bill with a few added services thrown in, when every other bill in every other month was for less than $2,500. So that's a stretch for my imagination.
We can agree to disagree. That's fine, Diane.
Oh, no, that doesn't answer the question at all. What did they do to qualify for the extra dough?
They did an extra deep cleaning because of COVID-19.
Okay, what does that mean? Can you delineate the services they provided?
I actually cannot. I can get that information from our DPW director because he hired and spoke with the contractor.
That'd be a great idea because, to go from $2,500 for several months in the recent past, and then to $8,000 in the next month, that's a big leap. And, it's kind of like the leap that they want us to take for the human resource person. Where's this money coming? Did you guys have trees that it grows on? Because I need one in my backyard if you do.
Diane, I just want to point out on the bill list, there's a bill being paid for TLP, climate control, and that is sanitize the evaporator coils.
What is that? What month is that?
I'm sorry?
What? Oh, I see. For this month.
Yeah, on the bill list, TLP. That's sanitizing our ducts.
Sanitizing your what? I'm sorry.
The air ducts.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. But that still doesn't total up to $8,000, does it? I'd like a delineation on that bill, if you don't mind.
Sure. If you contact me in the office tomorrow, I can provide that information to you.
I'll send you an email. How's that?
Awesome.
Great.
Anything else, Diane?
Nope, I'm done.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right.
I'm sitting
That's
here
all right.
writing notes and I forgot. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. Let me,
All right.
a couple more people, hold on.
Okay.
Jackie Palmer, 9 Shupin Street. So I have
Hi,
a
Jackie.
question regarding, hi Larry. And you may or may not be able to answer this, Larry, or maybe Jose. So my understanding is that within the borough, with each municipality within New Jersey and even probably likely statewide, there's something called a SAM number that enables municipalities to receive funding, federal grant money, state grant money, and we are required to have that number to get some of these grants and, for our borough. It has come to my attention that, yet again, our incompetent business administrator has neglected to do her job because we have had a SAM number. In fact, I have documentation as to when it was expired. And that date is October of 2000, let me give you the exact, October 17th, 2018. So my question, not 2019, was a year, a few months ago. We're talking 19 months ago, it expired. So for 19 months, we've not had a number that potentially our fire department, other grant writers, which we know we don't have, but we likely missed out on funding that would have been free to us from other sources, but get held up because that SAM number was not renewed. Now, Ms. McDonald's name is on it, as well as Joe Zanga's name on that documentation. That was not renewed. So my question is, what was so important last October of 2018 that we neglected to do that piece of the job? Yet again, forcing the taxpayers to likely foot bills that we may have been able to get grants for, or holding back people who have tried to get grants and missing out on specific things like with the state and the federal government because we don't have that number.
All right. Jose, do you know? I know the answer to it should go to, or the question should go to the BA and the CFO, but I've never heard of that number. Jose, do you?
Anytime you do a grant writing for any kind of equipment in their AFG, hazard mitigation grants, anything like that, we have a DUNS number and we have a SAMS number. In order to submit your applications, you have to have your SAMS number in there. So my understanding was that they put in the grant for equipment for the fire department under AFG, and it got denied because we didn't have a SAMS number.
Okay.
That's
So,
what my attention and.
So again, incompetence. We are
But it's
paying
also-
a woman who cannot do a job.
Excuse me, Jackie. Again, this also turns around and is also for mitigation grants for, like, if we were looking for more money, like right now we've got grant writing that's going on for trying to get more money from the federal government, from FEMA for the lake and everything. So again, we don't have that SAM number. That was just brought up to my attention now.
Well, thank you, Jose, because that's really disturbing to think that for 19 months now, we've likely either gotten denied and maybe we didn't know why, or maybe we just haven't reached out and maybe we're not maximizing the funding that we can actually get outside of taxing our taxpayers. But again, the business administrator neglected to do what she should have done. And Dawn, quite frankly, you can't tell me that you didn't know, because you did it. You actually did it on October 17th, 2017. It expired on October 17th, 2018, and has not been renewed since.
Any answer from Dawn in the CFO? What do we have to do to rectify this problem?
This is the first that I'm hearing that it's expired, because our OOA, our Office on Aging grants, and our FEMA grants also go through there, and I haven't been notified that the SAMS was expired, but I can certainly look into it.
Well, I have the documentation. I pulled it, and I actually called the state to find out as well, and it has been expired since 2018, October 17th. I'm looking at it right now. I'll be happy to send you the document. It is expired. Your activation date was 10/17/2017. Expiration date 10/17/2018. The status.
We've had a SAMS number for forever. The borough has. It's not a matter of it was enacted in 2017, but I will look into it. I haven't gotten any notification that it was expired, and frankly, I wasn't aware that the fire department was applying for a grant because nobody told me.
Well, I would assume that any organization within the borough, if they want to apply for a grant when they don't have, I mean, they're a volunteer service. Why wouldn't they search for grant money to offset what they get? I mean, that's ridiculous.
All grant applications should go through the CFO and administration, because a lot of times there's a matching funds, and you can't apply for a grant and agree to pay matching funds if there's no money in the budget to provide for that. So that's why grant applications are usually done by resolution, and usually the administrator and the CFO review them before they go on the agenda.
Well, apparently they got denied, and like I said, I am reading right now. I can see with my eyes the status of our SAM number is expired. That's what the system says, expired. And
okay, I'll look into it.
That's fine. I'll also be open requesting any and all emails basically from that month time to find out if in fact you were, because I'm sure you were notified, and I'm sure that there was a notification that went to someone based upon this, because there's federal, state, and state funding that we are now missing out on because of, yet again, your incompetence.
Is that it, Jackie?
I'm done.
All right, thank you.
Okay, there's one more person. Hold on.
Hi, everybody. Colleen Ronco, team Manalapan. I have a couple of quick questions. Are we doing anything with respect to the 2020 graduates as a town?
Mr. Mayor? I know he has something in the works. I don't know what it is. He's no longer on the call. Yeah, I know he's got something in the works, Colleen. I don't know all of the details yet, but I know he's got some people from the school working on it. Again, I'm not sure what the particulars are. I will talk to him tomorrow, and then I will let you know.
Is the mayor not with us any longer?
Yeah, he's gone. He's not in the meeting anymore.
Colleen?
Yes.
Colleen?
Yeah.
We had a meeting with the school and everything, and we discussed about the graduation and all that. We're working on something right now. As of right now, there's nothing finalized yet. All right, so once Friday, we should know more in detail of what's going on.
Okay.
All right, but we are working on something. It involves Spotswood and Helmetta. So we are working on that, and the mayor's also involved with working on some other stuff too.
Okay. The other question I have is, are we doing an emergency resolution or emergency meeting with respect to the taxes on June 1st? Or are we just telling the town, screw it? everybody else is doing it, but we're not.
What do you mean, Colleen?
Because the way that the resolution was, the way that the executive order was written with respect to taxes being abated until June 1st, there has to be a resolution from the town in order for that to take.
All right, well, let me read you what I have here. It says the Executive Order 130 gives you municipality options to let their taxes go from May 11th to June 1st. It says to make this decision, you have to make sure that you have operating capital. Okay, and we have no control, of course, over county and school taxes. They have to be paid. And if you get an extension until June 1st, now your next tax payment is 2 months later.
Okay, but most of the people in town have mortgages, and we have
Well, I understand that.
$1 surplus.
And I have mortgage too. My taxes are already paid.
I understand
It
that.
came out.
But what I'm saying is that the majority of the town, the majority of your income is not coming from those people whose houses are paid off. The majority of your income is coming from those people that are paying taxes through their mortgages. And
That's actually not true, because those people are still paying the same kind of taxes you're paying.
I understand that.
It's the only difference is yours comes out of your mortgage, theirs comes out of their pocket.
Correct. And if they're laid off from work currently and aren't getting unemployment because of the situation that we have with the New Jersey, those people don't have the money to pay their taxes until June 1st. So why are we not like every other town? I listened to 4 or 5 emergency council meetings where they put a resolution in for those people to pay June 1st. I don't understand why we're not doing it here. And again, we have a $1.7 million surplus. You can reach into that until these people get their unemployment checks and are able to pay their taxes. It's 1 month. They're not negating the taxes for a year. It's 1 month.
So, hey, Joe, are you still on?
I'm on, yep.
All right, so is she stating the fact that we have a $1.7 million surplus?
No, surplus was $1,404,000 at the end at 12/31/19.
Okay, and do we know how many people in town, don't have a mortgage? They're paying their taxes on their own?
The breakout is around 55% have a mortgage and 45% self-pay.
Okay, so 45% is that's almost half the town.
Okay, but now what's going to happen is that those people aren't going to pay that don't have the money anyway, and now you're going to wind up charging additional interest and everything else to them, when in fact you can put it off until June 1st. People that have the money are going to pay their taxes. It's those people that haven't gotten an unemployment check yet because of the unemployment system and the way that it's currently being worked out. I mean, there are people that have been out of work since the second week in March that haven't gotten an unemployment check. And they haven't gotten the federal unemployment check because they haven't qualified through the New Jersey state unemployment, because the New Jersey state employment system was so antiquated. So we have an issue here where you have people in town that are laid off from work that would love to pay their taxes, but physically can't. And now you're going to tack on additional interest. Why not just do a resolution saying that if they pay their taxes late, that there's no interest or penalties for those individuals, instead of trying to hit them while they're down, which is what we seem to do in this town. And we've got a $1.4 million surplus. You just heard it from the CFO.
But of that surplus, $1,170,000 was used to balance the budget. So that's what it was at the end of 12/31/19. But then you have to subtract $1,170,000 from 2020, which balanced the current fund budget.
So you had to pull $1 million out of the surplus to balance the budget?
We always do every year. Historically, going back many, many years, most towns balance their budget using surplus that's left over from 12/31 of the prior year.
Again, I ask, why can't we put in a resolution so that they don't get taxed, get additional penalties and interest on that money? It's May 4th. You're talking about 1 month. You're going to hit these people while they're down, so they can't pay because they didn't get they've been laid off from work. They have a family that's a COVID survivor, or currently somebody that's in the hospital, and we're going to slap them in the face by saying, you didn't pay your taxes, so now you have to pay additional money. when every other town around us has put a resolution in so that these people didn't have to pay until June 1st.
I'll bring that up, Colleen, with the mayor in the morning.
It shouldn't have been brought up.
And,
The mayor put out a letter last Friday where he said that he had the authority, which, by the way, if you read Executive Order 130, he doesn't have the authority. The council has the authority by way of resolution, not the mayor. So somebody needs to put Ed in check and let him know that he is not he's acting like.
all right, Colleen, if you're going to scream and yell at me, I'm going to cut you off.
You're not going to cut me off.
Okay?
You're not legally.
Yeah, I can, because you only got 5 minutes. You have a 5-minute window, and you're well beyond it. If you're going to yell at me, I'm going to cut you off.
You cut me off, there'll be a lawsuit on your desk by Friday.
Okay, so sue me. Okay? You're not gonna scare me, and you're not gonna push me. If you want to talk about it, let's talk about it as adults. If you're gonna scream at me, I'm gonna cut you off.
I'm not screaming at you. Trust me, if I was screaming.
You are. I listen to your voice go up 3 octaves. Okay? If you're gonna yell at me, I understand your frustration, and I will see what we can do to fix your frustration. But if you're going to yell at me like I'm some little kid, we're going to end this right now.
No, we're not going to end it right now. I'm telling you.
I will.
Right now. Because every meeting we do this.
Larry Sachs.
Yes.
She has a 5-minute window. Am I correct? Is
Yes.
that what the ordinance says?
Yeah.
Okay.
Colleen, if you want to wrap up your comments, I'll give you another 30 seconds. So go ahead.
Well, nobody else got cut off at 5 minutes.
Well,
Yeah, you get a 5 minute.
Usually.
Would you like me to read you the ordinance?
I want to speak to Larry Sachs. Larry,
Yes.
that's supposed to be announced at the beginning of the meeting.
Oh my God.
On it.
Well, first of all, I don't think we have to announce it at the beginning of the meeting, but there is an ordinance. And I'm just pulling it out. Don't forget, I'm working from my house, so I don't have access to everything. All right.
No, I understand. I'm well aware of what the ordinance is.
Okay. So you know. So listen. If you want to, you know what? Was I keeping track of your time, or was Alyssa keeping track? No. So why don't you, if you want to wrap up your comments, go ahead. Good. I'll give you some. We'll give you some time to wrap up your comments.
That's all right. You know what? Do what you have to do. Because
No. If you, I'm not up to me. So if you want to make another comment, be my guest. Go ahead. Or if you're done, that's fine also.
Can they? I'm not. You know what? I'm not going to get into it.
Well, was your question, can the council adopt a resolution to extend the tax payment to June 1st? Yes, they can, but they can't do it tonight because they'd have to hold a special meeting to do so. All right?
Hold an emergency meeting after this meeting.
Well, you could do an emergency meeting. It's got to be noticed, which obviously we can't do now because the Home News Tribune is not open. So if they decide to do that, they'd have to notice it. And presumably they could have an emergency meeting, yes. But I think what Councilman Kramer said is he wanted to speak to the mayor about it. And I'm assuming he probably wants to speak to Mr. Zenga about it. And then I guess a determination can be made.
So I'm correct in stating that the mayor does not have the authority to do what he did on Friday.
The council is the one that deals with extending this deadline.
So the mayor did not have the authority to put out that letter.
I never even saw the letter. I don't know what letter the mayor sent out. So
He sent out a nixle on Friday stating that he has decided that there is not going to be an extension to June 1st on the taxes.
Okay, well, I haven't seen that letter. But if the council was inclined to consider this issue, they could have a special meeting. But from what I'm hearing from our chief financial officer, that may not really be viable based on the discussion that he had just several minutes ago. So again, that's up to the governing body. All right. All right.
All right. So to answer your question, Colleen, I will check with all of the council members, and we will, if we need to, we will call a special meeting, and we will get this rectified. Are you Did you hear me?
I said, okay,
Okay. Are you finished?
I'm done.
All right.
Okay, there's one more person. Hold on.
Hello, Dulcie Branco Rivera again.
Is again your last name?
Yes, again is my
Oh.
last name.
Okay.
As far as the taxes go, I just want to remind the council that the majority of the people who have paid off their homes are seniors. And many of those seniors are what I would call working seniors, people who cannot live on their Social Security and still have to have their part-time jobs, which they may or may not have right now. So really the only people who you're hurting by not extending the tax deadline are some of the most needy in the borough. People like me and you, Larry, our taxes are paid. It came from the mortgage company. Whether I
Right.
pay my mortgage or not, they're still going to pay you. So the check is there and the bank will chase me down if I don't give them the money. But I think it's wrong that we are hitting the seniors, especially those who need their part-time jobs to make ends meet. And a lot of those seniors, I'm going to guess, are probably like my dad, who likes to pay his taxes in person. And Borough Hall is closed. And I know that my dad would never put it in a mailbox, at, off in the corner somewhere. He would need to hand it to somebody because that's how they do things. So I think it's wrong that we are hurting those people. But you could think about that. And these video conferencing meetings, can I please ask that those people who have their mics open, which are all the people of the council, learn how to mute and unmute themselves, because you're all unmuted. A lot of you have background noise, and it really disturbs the audio quality coming through for the rest of us. Most of the time up on the talking box, I can see other names pop up, and that's because the background noise from them are coming out. So we're 3 calls in. You really should learn how to use that mute and unmute button. Okay?
Dulce,
And
Dulce,
third,
can you hear me?
third is are the BA and CFO are together. Are they observing social distancing?
Yes, we most certainly are.
Well, you need to be pretty close together because both of you sound really close when you talk. So the computer's got to be right there. So can you explain how you're doing it so that we're assured that everyone is being safe?
I have an excellent cell phone reception, and he is 6 feet away from me. The cell phone is sitting in the middle.
Sure. Thank you.
Dulce, can you hear me? This is Ted.
Yes, Ted.
I asked him about this before. If we mute ourselves on this end, there is no way to unmute ourselves. We have to let Tim know. I've got him on speed dial for texting right now to unmute me. There's no way for us to unmute ourselves.
Well,
So let me
out-
excuse me 1 sec, Dulcie. Let me just jump in there. And Ted, you're absolutely right. But what I do, guys, is I call in on my cell phone and do a voice call through Zoom, and I'm able to mute my personal cell phone. So it gets rid of all that background noise. And then when I need to talk, I unmute my phone. So Tim doesn't have to mute me or unmute me on Zoom. It's all by myself on my phone. So I think what council should do, Dulcie, I agree with you, is at least council should do a voice call and call in on their cell phones, because then we do have the ability to mute and unmute ourselves to keep that background noise down.
Thank you.
Okay, I didn't know that, so
I'm
I'll
doing mine off of a laptop.
yeah, I'll check into that.
Yeah, Ted, I have Zoom open on my laptop, but my audio goes through my telephone, so I have the access to mute and unmute myself.
You and I are going to have a conversation later.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna have one with you too.
I'll call you both tomorrow and let you know how to do it.
Okay, great.
I just want you to know that if you went over to WebEx, on WebEx, I could make you all a panelist, and then the panelists can mute and unmute themselves all they want. Just wanted to put a plug in there.
Thank you, Dulce.
Okay, there's about 3 more people.
Yep.
I think you're still going on.
Diana, I think did.
So did
Yeah,
Jackie.
Jackie spoke about the Sam's number.
Colleen, you should be able to speak.
My question is, why, are we gonna reduce the BA's salary since everybody else is doing their jobs? Bueller? Hello?
Yeah, I don't know what to say, Steve.
When everybody's doing their job, you're giving $12,000 to Kate Leedy to do her job. I mean, what's going on? We're just tossing money around. Okay. I guess I'm just talking to the computer screen. So how many different grants have we lost because the BA didn't do her job and having that renewed Sam's number?
Well, I think the only one that could answer that is Jose, because he does the grant writing that I know of.
We don't have anybody else doing any kind of grant writing. So we're losing all kinds of money out there, even besides the Sam's number being registered, just because we're not doing that. I mean, that's kind of crazy.
Jose, can you answer that?
You hear me there?
I can hear you.
Yeah, now I can hear you.
What was that question? Because you came all broken up on that.
It seems like that only the fire department, or I guess maybe you, that are the only ones that are doing the grant writing. How come we don't have anybody else assigned to that job, or even hire somebody to try to get the millions of dollars that are out there in grants?
Well, the fire departments, the AFG grants are for fire departments, for equipment. That's what it is, for equipment. Then you have, then you got the SAFE grant. That's for staffing. And then you have also fire protection. That's also for, fire protections for towns and, stuff like that.
Sure.
Yeah, but Jose,
again,
didn't you write the grant for the DeVoe Lake? I mean, you write the
right now, yes.
Yeah.
I think, didn't Jose do something with that?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we're doing that right now to try to get some FEMA money for the lake.
But we're not going to do that because the Sam's number is not registered, so nothing's going to go through that you're going to work on. So that's going to be all.
Well, as of right now, like what I was told, what I just found out about this when I asked was that we didn't get the fire departments. They couldn't put the grant name because we didn't have the SAM number. So they did lose out on AFG.
And
So,
again, no accountability with
we got to wait until next year.
With the failure of that. Yeah, we're going to have to wait till next year, and any kind of grants that we're putting through is a waste of money. How come the mayor is not on the call anymore?
I couldn't tell you. We're all in different rooms.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of absurd. Okay. I guess my last two things is dump Ed and fire Dawn.
All right. Thank you, Steve.
Okay, hold on.
Okay, Jackie Palmer. Again, I'm sorry, I had a clarification question. Larry, if I may ask Joe, the CFO.
Sure.
Can you give us an idea, based upon the, say, 45% of people who pay their taxes directly, what would be the amount of money that we would, Well, I guess there's not really any money we would lose, because if they all pay their taxes on time, we wouldn't be losing anything. We'd actually be making money off of these people. Am I right? If they didn't pay us? So what's the delta, I guess, is my question. What amount, what would it cost us as a borough if we did the extension for the 30 days like is in the executive order? Like, would it cost us more money? How much?
I can't give you that off the top of my head because you have people that are delinquent for quarters. Some people might be delinquent just for this quarter. So obviously, the further it goes back, the more interest is paid. So that's hard to tell you right off the top of my head.
So, I mean, my question is this: make an assumption based upon the fact that every August, for as long as I've lived in Spotswood, we've had to extend our grace period because our tax bills go out late. Yes? Is that a statement?
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
due to when the state actually gives state aid. State aid.
So based upon that 2 week, we usually do, I think, 2 weeks, right? It's not usually a month, I think it's 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's a week or two, yep.
So based upon that, can you give me so we do that for 2 weeks, as a courtesy because, we're not making people pay their bill. They didn't get their bill on time. So can you tell me based upon that 2 weeks, if we doubled that, what would we lose?
Yeah, I don't have that in front of me, though. I can't come up with the top of my head with that number. I'm not really sure what that could be right now.
Okay. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out why or why not, why it wouldn't be feasible. So my suggestion to council maybe is that you kind of look at that a little deeper before you make your decision as to whether or not you're going to give an extension, understanding that we do give an extension annually in August for the bills. So it must not be that detrimental to us financially for us to be able to do that. So that's just my point that I wanted to make, and hopefully that we'll be able to do something, because this is an unprecedented, crazy time for everybody.
I agree, Jackie.
I think that's the only point that I wanted to make. Thank you guys for letting me talk again.
All right, Jackie, thank you.
Hey, Joe, I have a question for you, Joe. This is Charlie. Going off of what Jackie was just saying. Does in August when we do the extensions, or have done the extensions in the past, because I know our concern this quarter is the Board of Ed and the county taxes are due. So does that make a difference, the time of year?
Yeah, that's usually the toughest time of the year for the borough because cash flow is not really coming in every single day. So what we do is usually when the tax bills are struck, we give it to the mortgage companies immediately, and they usually will pay us right away. That's usually the hardest cash flow problem we have is in August. Now, the executive order was a great executive order by the governor, but what should have happened also is it should have funneled down to all other entities. They should have gave the borough 30 days more to pay the county, 30 days more to pay the school, 30 days more to pay health insurance bills and recycling bills and MCUA bills and stuff. But it seems like they just asked the towns to do it. But then in turn, we have to pay everybody on time. So it would have been nice if it was a trickle-down effect. Then I would say every town should do it then. But it seems like they gave it to the towns, and then the bills that are still coming due. If you look on today's bill list, there's $2.9 million on today's bill list. When I checked right before we came to this meeting, there was $2.7 million in cash in the bank. We have another wire coming from tomorrow for a couple $100,000. We'll just meet the bill list amount of wire tomorrow, probably. But it's a council decision. I'm not telling you to do it or not do it. I'm just saying from a financial aspect with cash flow issues, that's where I stand.
Nope, that's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else?
Yep, hold on one sec.
Me. Okay. Hi.
Hello,
it's me again.
hello, you.
Did somebody just make a noise? That sounded like flatulence to me. Anyway.
No, it wasn't, thank goodness.
Okay. To piggyback off of Dulce's question or statement of using Zoom as our medium to conduct these meetings, this is the third time we've used them. And to be honest with you, it's not been great. Between people disappearing, whether it's because they just decided to walk away and say to heck with it, like Mr. Mayor, or whatever, and not being able to see your smiling faces. You know, the first time we could at least see the top of your head or something. Is there another platform that we could use more successfully than Zoom?
Diane, this is Charlie. I don't want you to see the top of my head because I haven't had a haircut and I have more grays than I ever had in my whole life.
Yeah, you don't want to see my hair either.
Charlie, I did.
You look like a hippie.
I also haven't shaved in 3 months, so I look like Grizzly Adams right now.
Oh Lord, good grief! Are you trying to do the mountain man look?
I told myself I'm not shaving until the quarantine's over.
Oh,
my wife hates it, but that's what I told myself.
Oh my! And what does your wife say?
Yeah, she's not very happy.
No doubt. No, but really, guys, there's got to be another platform that we can use that would be more amenable to our needs, because I think it's stifling in a way, and we just seem to be bumbling around. It's like a big hot mess, quite frankly. Has anybody looked into another platform like whatever? I mean, I don't even know. Dulcie said WebEx. I know nothing about WebEx. I'm not promoting WebEx, but certainly somebody has to be doing a better job than Zoom.
Well, from what I understand, I think we can go video. And we'll try and do that for the next meeting.
Okay. But I mean,
Right.
even the audio, Larry, on this is not anything to write home about. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I understand. I feel like I'm back in grammar school where I have to raise my hand to speak.
Yeah. Council President, if I can chime in, because I've had a couple of these municipal meetings. They're all problematical.
Are they?
Yeah, it's part of it is internet, the capability of the internet that you've got in your house.
Okay.
The lack of maybe a cell tower in your neighborhood. It's a problem. So.
But we're all in a very close area. I'm sure we're all probably using the same cell tower, unless you're in Lower Slobobia. And
well, I'm in East Brunswick, so I'm in another country here.
oh yeah, well, you're in Lower Slobobia.
Yeah, right. But it's a problem. Listen, I'm just hoping that things will calm down and we can actually have a meeting, in the municipal building, and
wouldn't that be nice?
And have social distancing. But we can look into it. I know. We can talk to our IT expert, Tim, and see if there's another platform that maybe is better.
Make a couple of phone calls. If nothing else, they'll say, no, we can't do a better job than Zoom, and we'll stay with Zoom.
Yeah.
But I think it deserves some exploration.
Right. I got you.
Okay, that's all.
All right. Thank you, Diane.
Thank you, Larry.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
Thank you, Colin.
And there's one more.
Hold on. I'm trying to unmute them.
Okay.
Oh, wait, no. They went away.
No. All right.
So, that's it.
All right.
Need a motion to close?
Second. That's it.
Well, I didn't make
I
a
don't
motion.
think
Someone's got.
Well, yeah.
I know. You couldn't even get
Make
a
a
motion
motion
out,
to
and John was
close.
done.
Someone has to make the motion.
Second.
I make the motion to close the public portion.
Okay.
And John seconded.
John seconded it. All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we can adjourn now.
All righty.
Make the motion to
Motion to
adjourn.
Men. Being men. You know what that means? I don't know.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. Stay safe.
Harry Sachs, take care. Charlie Spicuzzo. All right.
Take care, guys.
Take
Good
care.
night.